Hello, Speed Trap listeners. Today's episode begins with a tour of Malmo's apartment. It's pretty cool. She's got some cool stuff, but it's very visual focused. So if you're an audio only listener, then I'd recommend skipping ahead to around 9.5 minutes to just get to the interview portion of it. Thanks for listening. Hello, welcome to the first live episode of Speed Trap.
Hello.
We've got Super Malmo World here.
I'm here.
We're
First live released.
First live release.
Because you recorded at SG Live and haven't released him yet.
Yeah, we'll see what I do with that footage. But yeah, we're here at Malmo's home, and she's got a bunch of really cool stuff here, so we're going to take a tour. Some stuff. What do you got to show us?
We're going to do a live feeding of my frogs.
What kind of frogs are these?
These are dart frogs. So I put the supplement in the cup. It's like a cooking show.
I have no idea how to film this well, so hopefully it comes out okay.
And I find a fly colony that looks good. It's like picking out ingredients. I look at them and see if they have flies in them. Turn it upside down here. While that's doing, I check on the floor for escaped frogs, because if I don't catch them, they will die.
Ooh.
It's kind of scary.
How many frogs do you have in here?
About 12. Don't ask me how many morning geckos I have. I don't really control their population.
We'll get to that in a minute, I guess.
Usually I have to do more than one.
Oh, that's so gross.
They don't have wings, so...
They're not really flies.
They are. They're walks.
Walks, yeah.
Should be good enough today. Yeah, I have this open so that if any fall, they just fall in the tank.
That makes sense. I think I see some motion down there.
And you see some frogs? They know
I
I'm
saw
feeding them. So
yeah.
when
Oh, there's one. I don't know if this will come through on the camera, but yeah.
Let's see if they come out. There's one there.
Do they usually come out and jump on them, or do they wait for them to like permeate down and eat them undercover?
No, they chase them. They go out to the spot where the flies get dropped.
Right.
Because they know. And then they start throwing themselves at them. I don't know if you can see that one.
Oh, there's one over here. Just a little jump. I keep seeing like leaves rustling and stuff, but
yeah,
not catching the frogs.
The thing is that they have this bright coloring to tell you they're poisonous, but they're actually like somehow camouflaged too. Like the yellow and black, it just looks like moss. So it can be hard to see them if you don't know what to look for.
Yeah.
You can also point your camera here, right there, and those are eggs inside.
I don't know if we're getting them or not, but maybe.
See that?
Yeah, I think so.
They don't usually hatch and go all the way to tadpole unless I take them out and breed them, but it's happened before. They just like rot.
That's too bad.
But I wouldn't want, it's hard enough keeping the morning geckos under control. I got two more frogs in here.
These are dart frogs again?
Yeah, I don't know if they'll come out. They're kind of dark inside, but...
Oh, I see, yeah. Dark blue. Oh, just jump away.
Maybe they'll come back if I do this. Let's close it before all the flies get out.
Yeah.
And then the morning geckos over here.
And these are the ones that just breed like crazy, and you have...
They clone themselves. They're all female.
Oh, right.
And they
don't
just lay
breed.
eggs.
Yeah, I forget the word for that, but...
Parthenogenesis?
Yeah. And you have, what, dozens? Hundreds of these?
Probably about 50.
Probably about 50. I
like to think that they have plateaued in population, but I also remove eggs when I find them.
You've mentioned that sometimes when they spawn, when they reproduce, They're little enough to squeeze out of the cage.
I don't know how they're doing it, but I do find them in my room sometimes. And I have a bug net over there to catch them.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
One time I found one inside the other tank. I don't know how.
Wow.
I mean, if she can get out, she can get in. It's the same tank.
I guess so. And then you've got an iguana over here? Is that
crested gecko. They don't get flies. She's sleeping. You can probably see her tail sticking out there.
It might be too dark to really show up.
Yeah, they're nocturnal, so.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll get that, but okay.
So that's my pets.
Sweet.
We've also got some art.
We've got art all over the walls. We've got the famous bomb and I'm such a bad cameraman. Bomb and vitreous eyeballs. And this enormous glitch painting. This is like
scale.
Yeah, this
it's
is
big.
I don't know, 2 by 3 feet or something.
This is like 3 by 4, I think.
3 by 4 feet, yeah.
Maybe it's 2.5.
But quite big, yeah.
2.5 by 3.5, maybe.
Some more glitch paintings.
Actually, I don't know. Maybe it was 2 by 3.
And then here, a
There's
combination.
a bunch on there that aren't mine. Like other people's art. Like that one's not mine. This was the first glitch painting I made.
Oh, really?
And then I made this one for the glitch tournament server from Chex's screenshots that he supplied me.
The moons are also yours, is that right?
Yeah, these are mine. That's not mine. Nothing on this row is mine. And this one and this one are not mine.
But, okay, yeah. Yeah, you seem to like painting moonscapes and Zelda.
I did a whole series of these, so there's like 50 of them. That's why there's so many. But I do also like painting these.
Yeah.
Not mine.
Those don't look like yours, yeah.
And that one's not mine. But most of the things on this wall are mine except for these.
Is that Ice Palace?
Yeah, in Plaid World.
This is too abstract.
Yeah, that was some screenshot Mr. Chris Ladd sent me from his, like...
Is that an emulator crash or something?
I don't know. I don't know why it has the stripes. It's something particular to his, I think he was playing on, like, a 3DS or something.
This looks like waves, but it's also got a lunar lander kind of thing?
Yeah, well, they land in the ocean.
Okay. Oh, it's coming back?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And then there's a sort of creepy astronaut emerging from the...
And then these two are not mine.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. Cool.
Cool. So that's the tour.
Oh, yeah, and then a bunch of... and you
stuff.
have
Legion
from Mass Effect. And a bunch of dragons from... I don't know if they're from anything.
They're from Pern.
Oh, Pern.
Yeah. I was a Pern kid in middle school.
Another cool dragon. And you have in your hallway Helmasaur.
Oh yeah, Helmasaur and Primates. And birds. And bears. All my bears are out here too.
Oh yeah. The bloody fish bear.
And then Helmasaur. The mask comes off. I don't know if you guys know that, because my avatar is just this.
Yeah, I've seen it before, but I always forget.
And then Trinex is over here.
Oh, and your emote mascot.
Oh yeah, my Twitch avatar.
And Trinex.
Trinex.
Doesn't Trinex also... I feel like that one of the heads moves or something? No.
No.
So cool.
And then bears.
Lots of bears.
My most recent one. There was one here, but it's in an art show.
Is that the same one that you took us to like a while ago?
Yeah.
That was fun.
And then my fern collection.
Is that one?
That's my dad.
That's your dad, right? Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Anything else to show off?
No. I mean, I'm sure there's more art if you look hard enough, but I think we've seen enough.
All right. Well, we can do the interview part, where we usually start by asking how you got interested in speedrunning.
Well, I'm going to skip most of the random stuff because I already was on 2 podcasts where I went through all of that. I don't need to talk about the first 5 years again. But since then, my first speedrunning was in 2021. I had just learned overworld glitches and run the overworld glitches mentor tournament and created HMG. And then I found out there's a speedrun that's basically HMG. Yeah. And I watched Andy versus Duck, who might be coming today. Duck, not Andy.
No.
Do a race on Corona Games Dunkquake or something. I don't know what it's called, but it was like some like relief marathon, and it was all dungeons. RNG.
You said 2021, so this was after the tournament. Because the tournament was 2020, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
It's post-tournament. I had watched back, I guess, from the previous year, because it would have been 2020. They don't call it Corona anymore. The race was really fun. I was like, oh, I could actually run this. This is the first time I watched the speed run and thought I can run this.
Yeah.
Because usually you watch it and you're like, oh, that's for other people better than me, or people who have more time. And this one was like, I already know how to do all these tricks. I just need to do it and do it faster. So I picked up the speed run. I did my first run in, I think I'm March 2021. And I got a deathless run at 121, which is not a good time now, but it's actually a really good time for your first run.
That's a very good time for your first run. I think a lot of people, for their first run, cutting the world record, the NMG world record, is a really good milestone. So.
Your first milestone is cutting yourself in NMG. I didn't have an NMG to cut. This is my first speed run. So I just aimed for beat the game in one sitting and don't die.
Yeah. And you succeeded on your first try.
Yeah.
That's pretty epic. That was old route, right?
Old route. I ran old route for a good while before I picked up anything else.
Right.
Can't believe I'm actually racing basement clip now. What has happened?
It's changed a lot.
It has changed. It's actually safer than Eastern First. For me, I'm more consistently getting 115, 116 times with basement clip than without, because you don't die to Helmasaur.
Right, you don't have to do 4 hard Helma. Yeah, and so, but you've never been like a super dedicated speedrunner. You always go back and forth to rando.
Yeah, it takes a lot of persuading to get me to not just roll a seed.
Yeah.
I open stream and like I could run, but I could also just play one of the asyncs, and we needed 80 League to get me back into it after like 2 years of not playing.
Yeah. But so you were grinding, not like really grinding, but your PV didn't stay at 121.
No.
I think you got down to like a 116 or something.
Yeah, I did pretty well like that first year of actually staying in the run.
Yeah.
We were doing a monthly race for a while. That was
right. You organized the monthly race originally.
Yeah, and then that was enough to keep me in it. But then I got my 116. You did my PB review, and then I got another 116 that was barely faster, and then I think there was probably like a tournament, like No Logic or something, and that's good enough to
pull you away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny how that happened. Just like whatever event is going on steals so much of your attention. You also did some any percent because you were doing bounce route, right?
Yes, I learned Moldorm bounce for rando and decided to do the speed run that has hovering in it, so I could practice Moldorm bounce in a real, like, you don't get Moldorm bounce seeds very often.
Right.
And I really liked that category until Stairmaster was discovered. But I stopped playing before that. It's not like Stairmaster is at fault. I just stopped speedrunning completely.
Yeah. And I think you also did some Master Sword RNG.
Yeah, I still do that. I'm bad at it.
That's a tough category, actually.
I still get 6 cycle land moves in every run. I fall in Moldorm in every other run. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But it's a low time commitment. It's my way to convince myself to fire it up, and I don't have an hour and a half, but I have 20 minutes,
It could be, I've never really done this, but I think some people use short categories like as warm-up.
Yeah.
To like start up a stream or whatever.
I find it hard to switch back and forth between AD and Master Sword because of the differences between like in pod, like you get hammer, you don't get hammer.
Well, those should be the same now if you're doing basement cliff, right?
No. I don't get hammer in Master Sword.
I save and quit. Oh, that's right. You don't get hammer.
Yeah, see, you fell for it too. You would have gone hammer and lost time. You'd have an easier Moldorm fight.
You can do hammer Moldorm, yeah.
Hammer at Lambo and you die because hammer Lambo is actually really hard.
Yes, it is. Yeah, but so, okay. But you are mostly a rando main. I guess how do you feel about speedrunning versus rando is one of the
I like both. I find it hard to do both at once.
Okay, so you like, because I guess I have noticed that you're doing like all AD right now.
Yeah, I stopped. I did all the asyncs for the month and then I stopped.
Right.
League started and I started doing I haven't done a rando seed since League qualifiers open.
Oh, wow. Yeah. You've been also doing a ton of pickup races.
Oh, for AD or for...
For AD, yeah. There's been a lot of activity in pickup races, and you seem to be in quite a lot of them. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the seating looks like now. Do you know who it looks like is going to be in your group?
Yeah, it's like Mr. Byer, and it depends on who drops, but Mr. Byer and like JD Silvergun and some other people. Spleeby. It's a tough group.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just the second rec. So there's like the top 8 is completely out of my league. It's like Doom Tap and you and stuff. But I think in my group, it's actually really anyone's game.
Yeah.
And my superpower is I can finish runs pretty consistently within this like 2-minute bracket.
I think that's going to take you pretty far.
That's how I did No Logic 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I just would not try things that were too hard, and my opponent would try to go mode with like 2 bottles and a mirror, and I would like find cane and hook shot and win.
Yeah.
I didn't do that this year. This year I became the tryhard and only got 3rd place instead of 2nd. So maybe I should go back to that.
Maybe.
But also the competition got better, so I don't think I can afford to play like that anymore and expect to get as far as I did.
3rd place is also just really good. Like, that's not really a worse performance
than 2nd
place. There's so much randomness
considering the people I had to play in finals, like,
yeah.
I think I only got 2nd place in that tournament because I never had to face Tam because you did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Winning record against Tam, by the way.
Yes. I have like one race. I took 1 race from Tam. That's good enough for me.
Yeah. I mean, Tam's performance in the 2nd No Logic tournament was just unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually insane that me and Mr. Byer both took games from Tam because like, we didn't expect Tam to even go defeated at all.
They went in the everybody was doing constant pickup runs in the run up to the tournament starting, and Tam went something like 15 races without a loss, and most of them were by like 3 minutes.
I got my first sub-hour time in a race against Tam, and I lost that race.
Yeah, that was a ridiculous performance. Okay, what else are you known for? Well, you organize a lot of rando stuff. You don't want to talk too much about the rando stuff because you're always on rando podcasts.
Go listen to 216 podcast, my episode, the Go Mode podcast, about the Overall Glitches Mentor Tournament. I talk about it there. Sorry to plug other podcasts in your podcast.
No, all good.
How we go.
Not really competing here. You're also well known for, you create a ton of really good guides for stuff. You do image guides. I guess there's sort of like 3 kinds of guides. There's like video tutorials that some people make. There's like text guides, which mostly I make. And then there's image guides, which mostly you make, which I think is like a really good format for them. And there's a ton of good resources there.
Yeah, I think having one of each for every trick is really good. So having other Tom post a GIF of the trick being done is really helpful for people who just need to watch it be done to understand it. Yeah. Some people will read text and they'll just like blank their mind because they can't visualize it.
Yeah.
And some people will watch a video and trying to be like pausing at frames to see what coordinate they're on, and that's really hard to do. Yeah. Especially on a GIF. But having both is really, really awesome. Like being able to watch it but then also read the steps and not have to pause the video. Because that's how, when I make the guide, usually it starts with me doing that and being frustrated by it. I'm like, I'm doing this so that I only have to do it once, so that next time I need to learn it, I can just look at my guide instead of this.
That's why I do it too. I just don't bother taking the pictures. Do you use like GIF Exploder like to get stills from GIFs?
No, I have Screen to GIF. I could probably load it in Screen to GIF and look at stills.
It seems like you actually I don't actually know if this is true, but I've always just sort of assumed that what you're doing is just redoing the trick yourself and capturing.
That's how I learn. If I don't do it myself, I'm not going to actually learn it.
Yeah.
And that also helps me find things that can go wrong because the GIF will never show it going wrong.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a really important aspect of resources is like explaining like where the slack is, or like it doesn't matter what you do at this step, but on this step like you can't press right or whatever.
Oh yeah, like for example, you'll see the GIF go to a certain pixel and hop off, and then I'll try it and be like, well, you have to quick hop or it won't work, or it doesn't have to be this pixel, it's a range of pixels, and the GIF will never show the range of pixels. It'll always just show one of them.
Yeah, some of your guides actually have like 2 pictures and you're like anywhere in this range works or whatever, which is really useful. You've created a ton of those for rando and stuff. I don't know, I keep expecting you to make a new basement clip guide.
I made a video, which is kind of crazy. Okay. I just clipped myself doing it, and I'm not good at basement clips, so I'm not really the person to teach it. I made a guide for a Requiem clip, you know that. I actually did that.
For Requiem basement clip? Oh, I didn't know you had that.
Okay. I made an image guide for it.
Okay, good.
That's how I learned it.
That's good, yeah. Oh, I'm like blanking. It's weird doing this in person. I'm blanking on what all the good questions to ask are.
That's because I short-circuited half of the questions you had in mind.
Yeah, well, a lot of the conversation is usually like how you get interested. But the if what happened was all that was getting interested in rando and then crossing over, then Well, tell us about your experience at SGL.
Okay. Well, SGL was awesome. I wish it was longer.
Yeah.
My experience, I think I talked about it on Go Mode Podcast last week.
Oh, you were on Go Mode Podcast
I was on Go Mode Podcast last week, yeah. So that's another one. I go listen to that also. But I was talking to Lumaga and Vextifer, but I was not talking... I talked a lot about NMG Tournament, which is awesome. I loved NMG Tournament more than I knew I was going to love it. I don't run NMG except like as a meme. So, but I did get a PB while there that was completely unrecorded, and you won't be seeing it on SRC.
Yeah, a couple of people did. I know Popsicle did as well.
Yeah, and Lumaga.
And Lumaga, right? Yeah. Yeah, it was really fun. It's always fun seeing people. It's always fun. Malmo puts these in-person events together here as well, which is always really good. It's always fun seeing people. And then you did Glitch Bingo, which the record doesn't really show this because you were the one handing out prizes, but you demolished everyone at Glitch Bingo.
I got a 9.
Yeah, she got 9 bingos, which is all of them.
It's all but 2, I think, or it's like the most I've ever done. It was all but 2 squares, and then whatever that ends up being.
Yeah, I got like 3 or 4 of them, and I felt like I was doing okay.
It's the thing with Glitch Bingo is you get to you spend like half of it just having nothing, and then you get your items, and then you're in panic mode at the end, like trying to do as many as you can.
Yeah.
Hour and a half is the perfect amount of time, I think, to actually like be able to do some, and then also still have some time pressure and not just be like, well, I guess I'll just keep looking for the cape or whatever.
Yeah, I think it also just like depends a lot on
the
players and the seeds and whatever.
Yeah, I was playing HMG, which is like, I don't know, in No Logic you can do more, but your goals are harder. And you might not find things like Moon Pearl.
It's more likely to just like miss out on a whole
I had a spicy pearl in my seed, Village of Outcasts, so it wasn't free.
Was it, what's the logic expecting you to get in Village of Outcasts?
Mirror Clip off the mountain.
Wait, what's the
logic? Mirror Clip off the mountain and Super Bunny in.
Oh, yeah. Like Mirror Super Bunny.
Then I just like walk off faithfully, gotcha. Which is what most people would do.
Right. Yeah, it's weird that Mirror Clip is in Logic because nobody actually does it.
Nobody does it. Well, it's like easy. It's one of the oldest tricks in the game.
I know. Yeah, I remember learning about it on like a game FAQs.
I'm probably the same one I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like, here's a challenge where you do as much as you can as a bunny, and here's a challenge where you like give away your sword and do as much as you can without a sword.
Yeah.
And they had like Super Bunny and EG and some other stuff.
And they knew about hovering, but it was still considered task only at the time. The levitation trick.
I think it's still task only, but that's,
I would be interested. One thing that I think you resisted doing at SGL is using other people's setups.
I just didn't get around to it. I wanted to.
Maybe we can do that today.
Maybe.
Because I wonder how hovering or other tricks like that would feel for you on my NT.
I hovered on Crithle's NT at ESA.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I know I can do it. I just don't... My controller is really high A button. So, like, doing this is like... It's almost like the A button catches too much. Yeah, it's like a guitar with a lot of action.
Right. You gotta get a new controller. We're trying to trick everyone into buying
I have a Super
setups.
Nintendo controller and a Super Nintendo. I just don't have anything else. I don't have a TV.
Have you ever tried like using an adapter for your SNES controller?
They cost $50.
They do?
Yeah, it's $25 and then $25 shipment.
Wow.
For a RAFnet. I looked it up. I considered it.
I thought RAFnet was for the SNES Classics.
Maybe, I don't know.
Because I used to have one of those, and I did not pay $50 for it, but maybe they were less scarce when I got it or something.
Maybe.
I don't think I have it anymore though, because I never used it.
But that was just to connect my controller to my emulator.
Yeah. When I was first into speedrunning, the first game I speedrun was Mega Man X, and I did some practice for it on emulator because I had save states on emulator, and I didn't have like an FX pack or there was no MX practice hack at that point or anything. Mm-hmm. So I had a USB to SNES controller. It was terrible. Terrible way to practice.
Oh God, speaking of no practice hack, Brainlord speedrunning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I want to get back into that. For those who don't know, Brainlord is a Super Nintendo action RPG, and most people don't like it. Most people played it as adult because they're doing like a retro game sweep, or like, I'm going to play all these retro games, and then they get to it and they get really frustrated and hate the game for its design choices from the 90s. And I'm like, well, it's not the perfect game, but I actually think it's really fun, and it has a banger soundtrack, and I played it as a kid, so I'm actually decent at it, which helps a lot. Like, having childhood experience with the game really takes the edge off of difficulty, because you play, that's like what I had as a kid. I didn't have other games. I had like 10 Super Nintendo games, and that was one of the better ones. So I played it a lot.
I don't know a ton about the game, but I know some of the notorious design choices, such as the completely black room.
Dark rooms, yeah.
Dark rooms where there's no lamp, there's no way to find you. Just like
it's a dark room with conveyors in it, and it's giant. It's a huge room. I have a hack. I actually did find a hack that changes the palette of the dark rooms so you can see them. So I'm practicing on that. I haven't gone to that yet. That's another one that I just stopped because something else started happening.
Yeah.
Like rando tournament or something. I think I went to SG Live last year and then I came back and was doing.
Oh, that sounds about right.
Glitch Mentor tournament or something.
Yeah, you were like getting okay at that game. I mean, that's not like a super heavily run game or anything.
No.
But
the world records, they finally added any percent.
Right.
I haven't run any percent. It skips the first 2 dungeons, but I was running all dungeons. But the world records in both those categories are actually pretty good runs. I mean, they're not like terribly optimized, but like the people who are running them are dedicated speedrunners who go through games and like, I'm going to get the world record in this one and then this one.
Right.
So it's not like it's free, but I got my sub 3.
What's the world record?
It's like a 140.
Oh. So a little bit of room to grow.
A little room to grow. I have time saving things like I didn't actually memorize the puzzle solutions and had to solve them on the fly.
Oh, that's another thing I remember you talking about is there's a room with a puzzle, but the room is randomized every time, so you have to re-enter until you get the right setup.
The game has blue balls and RNG manip for the blue balls. For those who speak Link to the Past, the RNG manip is apparently hard, and there isn't really like good resources to learn it. The world record, I think, doesn't even like do it. They just like hope. You walk in and there's these rocks that arrange themselves in a maze, and you either can or can't get through, and you have to reset the room if you can't get through. It's terrible.
That's so crazy. Because if I were a kid and I walked in there, I would just feel like I was too stupid to find the solution.
Well,
and then eventually you give up and leave, and
there's
it's
a
like,
hint. There's a good plaque you can read that says like like the stones move, and like the stones are alive, and you have to like, it tells you have to reset the room.
That's wild. Yeah, it'd be cool to see you get back to that. Did you make an MSU for that game?
Yes, it was my first MSU. Yes, it was my first MSU. It's still my most used for me. I don't know what other people are using, but
I don't think there's a way to track that.
No.
I wonder if Cody's new site tracks downloads or anything.
I don't even think they're on Cody's site.
No.
And I think I'd have to upload them myself.
Yeah, I think so.
They're on that old document.
The old spreadsheet.
Yeah, I've dabbled in MSU making. I've dabbled in sprite making. I don't have the patience to like do it if I don't want it badly enough. If that makes sense.
Like you're only making it for yourself.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that I made the astronaut sprite because I really like playing with it, and there are a couple other people who also main it, which is always rewarding.
Yeah, it looks good, but every time I see someone using it, I just
think it's
you.
I see somebody doing like
somebody else who mains it.
There's like Vinter and Homemade Beer and Tim are the 3 people I know who main it. Yeah. But watching like Vinter hover on it, like it's weird to watch somebody do a trick on that sprite that I can't do.
Yeah, that's a good sprite though. Are there any other games you've dabbled in speedrunning?
No, just those 2.
So those 2. Any others that you're interested in?
No. I haven't even played a game in so long.
Yeah. I wanted to tell this stupid story. I ran Aladdin for a little while, and that game has an RNG manip where if you die in like the 3rd level or whatever, then you get good RNG on the boss. Mm-hmm. And it costs like 5 or 6 seconds, but it's like a 17-minute speedrun. Mm-hmm. So what the world record does is it just doesn't do that and hopes that it gets the good pattern. No. Because you can't like afford a 6-second time loss. Of course
not. You would do it in a race, but you wouldn't do it in a run.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so bad.
So like the top 2 or 3 players just like sort of throw attempts at it until.
At least it's only 17 minutes. God, that would suck.
Yeah, it's awful.
It would suck. It sucks more than if there wasn't a minip and you just had to go in hoping for the good RNG. Because like knowing that there's a minip for it, that you could have had a live run.
Yeah.
I don't know how much time you lose from the bad RNG, but
I don't remember, but it's material. Yes, terrible situation. Yeah, it's nice about Link to the Past. At least there's nothing you could be doing about it.
Yes, people have said that like AGA 1 RNG manip would be probably the worst thing to happen to the game if somebody were to discover it and nobody's even looking because.
Well, it's just not possible.
A Link to the Past just doesn't have RNG manip. The way it does RNG is actually pretty robust.
Yeah.
Although it would be nice if we could run hundo and actually have, some control over that.
Maybe you could start the vanguard of running on the no RNG ROM.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was just going to say vanilla preset, but...
Oh, that works too.
I'd rather do vanilla preset than... If I'm going to do a ROM hack, I'm going to do a ROM hack that I can do MSU on.
That's fair. I think that the swap to preset is a lot more of a barrier for people now with fast ROM.
It is so hard. That's the other reason, is like switching between fast ROM and slow ROM. I knew it was a problem for like the high level runners, like Airy, but then I hadn't actually speedrun, I think, since fast ROM. Like I hadn't done all dungeons since fast ROM came out, outside of a couple like pickup races or weeklies or whatever. Like I hadn't done a grind. I had maybe done some Master Sword, but I don't know, it's a short run.
Yeah, and it feels weird to you now.
Oh, there are problems. I struggle on Argus from the hookshot being a different speed.
It's like, yeah.
I was getting 2-cycle Arguses for a long time. Still am. I'm just now getting the hang of it again.
Argus throws me off every time in rando. I throw the hookshot and then it's like so fast. I can usually like handle it okay, but it's so surprising every time. That and like, I know you don't like the Trinex burst.
Yeah, Trinex is easier in vanilla. Helmasaur is probably the reason I was dying to Helma so much and returning to AD, is that it was on fast and slow ROM, and the lag when you break the mask makes it really hard to actually move yourself into position for the part where you die.
Yeah.
So I just rerouted so I wouldn't have to do that part. I tried Silvers, I didn't like it very much, so I moved to the late basement clip. Yeah. I'm not really saving that much time over because I'm doing like a safety route of it, but at least I'm finishing runs.
Yeah, you were telling me the other day, but I forget what you were trying to avoid. You like didn't want to put time into learning the
I didn't want to do the dungeon order of early hook, but I still do early hook. But I timed it. I am saving time on just doing early hook without doing the dungeon order. A few seconds, plus I can save more by actually learning Meyer Spooky 1 and so on.
I don't think you would have any real trouble if you just wanted to do the full route.
I will. I plan to do it for attempts after League is over. I don't want to have 2 routes going at once because it's hard enough adjusting to this one.
Sure. Do you have a goal time in AD or any other speedruns you want to get back to?
I would like a 1:13.
Okay.
I like to keep up with Mr. Beyer, if nothing else.
You're close.
We're supposed to be close, and he's a minute ahead of me.
He just got a big PB.
He did.
For his qual, yeah.
He's putting a lot more work into it than I am, though. And I always acknowledge that I get out of it what I put in, and I'm not putting in as much as most people.
Yeah. Well, is that true? I mean, I feel like you're playing a lot. You just mean you're not like doing focus practice.
I'm not doing focus practice. I'm just doing runs.
Yeah.
Which is like what Spleeby does. I don't know. He's just really good at video games, though, so he can pull off a 111 or whatever. But I don't know if he actually has a 111, but he definitely could.
Yeah, I don't know what his time is, but
I think he just got a 112.
Okay.
This week. I was actually shocked that he didn't already have one.
He probably submitted as a qualifier, whatever it was. He has his qual was a 113.36. Okay. So if he got a better time, he didn't submit it. Wait,
really? I could have sworn he had a 112. Maybe not. Maybe he had a 114 and went to 113.
I'm not sure.
I think I actually like caught up to him for a moment, and then, are we recording?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I caught up to him for like a moment, and then he got his 113, and I was shocked that he had a 114 and not like a 112, because I know he can get one.
So it looks like your group as of right now will be Rob, Skelly, Beyer, MM2. No, I don't think MM2 is playing.
MM2, I don't know. He said he was not able to finish runs, and then he did a weekly and finished the run. Got
I don't know.
But I don't know.
He said he was going to drop, but I don't know if he committed, and I don't know if Tam has reached out to verify or not yet. But anyway, those 3, maybe MM2, Spleeby, Malmo, Willie, PH, and either MM2, or if MM2 drops, then JD.
PH is also a maybe.
Oh, I think PH is going to play.
Okay. PH said put me in if it makes the brackets clean.
Oh. I don't think any...
But I think most of the people past that. I don't know if Tam has a plan for the people past that. I know a few of them have already dropped.
Space has dropped. I assume Twin isn't playing.
Twin dropped, yeah.
Okay.
And like, I haven't heard anything from Muffins Kaysden in DFS.
Kaysden was complaining. I don't know if it was like, I'm really going to drop, or just like, general griping. So we'll have DFS, muffins, and either JD or not if mm2 drops. So that'll only be 2 or 3 people, so it's like you can't really, one person joining or not can't make that into a clean bracket.
I would love to have JD in my bracket, though.
Yeah.
Maybe MM2 should drop.
Too bad we won't get this episode out in time for him to hear that.
Yeah, it's true.
That should be a good bracket, though. I think that there will be a lot of cool races in there.
Is that going to be your poll quote? That MM2 should drop?
Maybe. I try to do about 3 pull quotes of people saying toxic or funny stuff.
That's probably the most toxic thing I've said today, so...
Well, you were talking about literal toxicity with the dart frogs.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't mention that they're not actually toxic in captivity.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, is it their diet?
Yeah, it's their diet.
And you're not feeding them?
I'm not feeding them ants and beetles from the Amazon, so they're fine.
Is that because you don't want toxic frogs in your room, or is it because those are hard to source?
It would be hard to source. I'd have to be feeding the beetles and ants toxic Amazonian plants and then feeding those to the frogs. I also don't want toxic frogs in my room. Why would I want that?
Well, I don't know. I don't want any frogs in my room, so I don't know where you're at. That does seem like a pretty big supply chain issue, though.
Yes. I don't consider it an issue. I think it's a feature.
Yeah. So today we are at this Mall Monthly. They're not monthly. I just call them that because it sounds good. We're doing pumpkin carving, which I see a pumpkin over there.
Yeah, that's mine. Lectanzi will be showing up with one. And then question mark on Apathy Duck and Emo coming and whether or not they will have a pumpkin. I'm going to guess no because they have somewhere to be after.
I'm going to guess they're not bringing a pumpkin either way.
Yes.
I don't know if they'll
No
come
on
or
the
not.
pumpkin, not no on the coming.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
And then, do you have a plan for your pumpkin?
I think I might be doing something bear and salmon related, maybe like a dead salmon.
Oh, interesting.
I couldn't think of anything linked to the past related, like my Vidi and Moldorm pumpkins. I've already exhausted my good ideas.
You could do something from like the All Hallows Eve ROM hack.
That'd be interesting. I'd have to look at it.
Vibes.
That would be a deep cut.
Yeah.
As long as it's spooky, though. That's the thing is like video worked really well because it was just
You don't have to know what it is.
Yeah. It worked really well. And also because pumpkins rot here where I live, it's really foggy. And I'm looking out the window right now. It's extremely foggy.
I don't know if we'll capture it very well, but
it's white. Yeah, it's that. I think that can't capture.
It actually looks kind of like that. Yeah.
Yes.
It's not just overexposure. It's basically a
actually what it
gray
looks
white
like.
blur.
So there's a lot of moisture in pumpkins last like days before they turn to mush.
Do you get trick-or-treaters out here?
I live on a hill.
Yeah.
I think I got like the one time I turned my light on and I gave up after that.
Yeah.
I might do it this year though. If I have pumpkins, I might as well have the door open, have a bowl of candy out.
Yeah. And then I don't know if we have anything else. I brought my NT. I don't think Lek is bringing a setup.
Lek doesn't have a monitor portable setup going on, and they will be bringing a pumpkin. But I live here, so I have a laptop and Super Nintendo controller to plug into someone else's if we want to do one mind.
Oh yeah.
And I have the thing I brought to SG Live, so I can play on an emulator on my awful laptop where the battery falls out and it can't run Discord and emulator at the same time. I learned.
Wow. Yeah, you've been saying for at least a year that you're going to upgrade that.
See me next year at SG Live. Show up with the same laptop complaining about how the battery falls out, and you can tease me about this.
I will.
I'm too cheap.
One other thing to say about the Mall Monthly is that I know we were talking about this at SGL about trying to get a bigger one planned for like someone maybe like PH to come out from a little farther out, or people who could come out for like, an overnight or a weekend trip, but who can't just drive out for the day.
I'm not against, picking like a weekend where people who live anywhere as far as they're willing to travel can come and book an Airbnb or whatever. And then like I take some time off work and we just do this every day.
I think that would be awesome.
So like a mini SG Live, like an independent one.
Yeah.
With like anyone who's willing to come. I can't really like house people because I have housemates.
Right.
I could house like one.
You said maybe one person could sleep on the couch or whatever.
This couch, but I don't think I'd be allowed to have like a big party over for overnight.
No.
It would be like a kid sleepover. Everyone's on the floor. I don't think people have old man backs now. I can't do that.
Yeah, luckily that correlates with being able to afford Airbnbs. So.
Yeah, it's true.
I think that'll be really fun if we can get that together. All right. I'm out of things to ask about.
Well, thanks for, interviewing me in person. It was fun to show off my room and stuff. Very unique experience. I hope to see your SG Live recordings one day.
I'll upload them.
You could just upload them raw. I think it would be fine.
I might end up doing that. I need to go through them and see what I have, but I've been slacking. Also, I've been moving, which is
yeah, that's true. If nothing else, I want the videos of people trying the salt licorice.
Oh yeah, we'll get that up.
I already ate all of mine.
Yeah. So thanks for coming on. Do you have any shout outs before we turn off the recording?
I'm going to plug all the other podcasts that I was on just to spite you. You can listen to the most recent Go Mode podcast for all the SG Live recap, because I went into a lot of detail about it there.
That sounds good. And you are also on 216, which is that Dante's?
No,
Dante's is spoiler log. That's Fears. Have you been on Dante's?
No.
Well,
but Dante... I've been on Go Mode podcasts before that, which Dante was on, so I've talked to them.
You've been on GMP a few times, right?
Yeah, as a guest host more recently, because they're kind of semi-retired as hosts. So they just bring me and Lumaga and so on.
Yeah.
Speed drop.